Hi, everyone. I hope that you've been enjoying our live chats today. My name is Valentina Mio, and I'm one of the volunteers at the UK Amicus office. And for our next event, I'm going to be discussing law firm-based casework with Pan Papakyprianou. He's a solicitor at Linklaters, and hopefully I'm going to invite him to the conversation now. Oh, I see he's joined. One second.
Hello there.
Hi, sorry about all the Insta tech trouble. Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Of course, pleasure to be here and nice to meet you as well. All good. How are you?
Good, yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit about yourself and your career?
Sure. So I am currently an associate in Linklaters London office. So my day job area of law is financial regulation. But of course, I also do some pro bono work on the side, a lot of it with Amicus.
Of course.
Before I trained at Linklaters as well, and before joining Linklaters, I had studied law at the University of Exeter. Um, and actually, I first came across Amicus when I was at university. So
Oh,
in my final year, I was part of the committee for the local chapter of the European Law Students Association, or ELSA, and that year, ELSA UK, so like the UK-wide version of that organization,
yeah.
was hosting an essay competition in collaboration with Amicus. So in my role as part of the committee of the local chapter, I was kind of promoting that essay competition on campus, and I'd also linked up with the campus rep to host a talk about Amicus and their work to sort of encourage participation and raise awareness. So yeah, cool that I've managed to stay involved with Amicus afterwards.
Yeah, that's awesome. Actually, I'm a part of Elsa as well, so very lots of
Amazing.
similar lawyer stuff. Yeah, so I've got some more questions about your experience with Amicus. So you said that you came across Amicus through Elsa. What has been sort of your involvement with the organization?
So since leaving uni and starting work,
Hmm.
I first started doing actual work with Amicus during my first seat as a trainee at Linklaters. An associate was involved with an Amicus matter, and he brought me on board to sort of distribute the workload. And I've managed to remain involved since. I'm quite involved with the Florida project with the Florida Central Center for Capital Representation, which
Very
Hannah
cool.
Harmon was just on discussing, um, as well as some sort of ad hoc cases that come in through our doors.
Awesome. So what made you want to contribute to these Amicus projects? Was there anything in particular that really like grabbed your interest?
Not about the project in particular, but more about the work Amicus does in general.
Right.
So kind of take a step back and explain my interest in Amicus and its work.
Hmm.
Kind of stems from the fact that the death penalty and the finality of it doesn't quite sit right with me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if something goes wrong somewhere along the process and an innocent person goes to jail, if they're executed, there's no going back. That's it. If they're facing a life sentence and then they're later exonerated, they can be released, and there's an opportunity to make amends. Whether that's actually done in practice or not is a different can of worms. But the ability to try to make things right is there, and you lose that when you just execute a prisoner. Not to mention the fact that if the killer is in prison for life, they're no longer posing a real threat to society. So given that there is that more humane solution, executing criminals doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah.
And that is why I find Amicus's work so important and so interesting, because it both brings attention to the faults in the system, as well as actually doing the legwork to support defendants facing the death penalty.
Yeah.
And statistically speaking, that tends to be the most vulnerable members of society who would benefit the most from that additional support.
Yeah.
So yeah, very, very happy to help and use my time to do work that has a direct positive impact on people.
Absolutely. I think lawyers are the ones who get to really witness all of the flaws within the justice system, sort of at the first level. So we're also the ones who should try to fix that. What does Amicus mean to you?
I mean, I suppose I kind of touched upon that in my previous answer, but slightly build on that. It is a moral thing, like having the opportunity to do work which actively goes and sort of progresses my beliefs that everyone has a right to life, treat people humanely and all that. I think it's a great opportunity, and I encourage anyone who is interested in this kind of stuff to support Amicus any way they can.
Yeah. Do you feel that your individual contributions within Amicus have made a difference?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think I might be able to give a bit more context to that answer, though, if I briefly chat about the different work I've done.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do that. Yes.
So I won't spend too much time on the Florida project. I'm aware that the Reed Simmons folks discussed that earlier. Not to mention Hannah Gorman.
Yeah.
But in very sort of brief terms for anyone who wouldn't have seen those sessions, it is essentially a project that involves tracking active death penalty cases in Florida and extracting relevant information into a database. And that database serves to, firstly, inform the allocation of FCCR's resources to assist defendants, and secondly, provides a statistical basis to be used in arguments against the death penalty, like in actual data and numbers and all that jazz. And then the other kind of work I've done with Amicus is ad hoc cases that come in. So for example, recently, there was a case involved where I was part of a team of volunteers in Linklaters that had gone through the phone records of an incarcerated defendant to try to find mitigating information that would assist the defense in their arguments. And I think stuff like that really sticks with you because you're hearing this guy who is facing a death sentence, but you're hearing his interactions with other people. You see what he's like with his friend group. You see that he's got a loving relationship with his parents. He's supportive of his little brother in his endeavors. It really goes to humanize the people who are going through this.
Yeah.
So apologies for the tangent there to answer your actual question. Where I think this makes a difference. I absolutely think this makes a difference.
Yeah.
The case I alluded to is still ongoing, so I'm not sure what the result of that will be. But I do think that finding that kind of information can really help the defense and help the defendant who's being represented to stand the best possible chance. And for the Florida project, I am aware of at least a couple of individuals whose cases we'd been tracking that FCCR allocated resources to accordingly and have managed to beat the death penalty. As well as the fact that Hannah and Margot had also co-authored an article in the Columbia Human Rights Law Review, which cited the work from that project as the empirical data behind it. So I 100% think that the work we do for Amicus is important and makes a difference.
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds like a really powerful story. And it's always great to really get to know the individual really behind not just like a statistic or just a list of facts. And how I know that obviously Linklaters is a very like an intense firm, but how much time do you think that you dedicate to Amicus each month?
I actually looked up this statistic before our call. So, and according to the last few months, I spend between 3 to 8 hours a month on Amicus work, depending on what's going on in the project I'd be working on.
Mm.
And I think the key to takeaway from that is that it's working for Amicus through big firm like Linklaters makes it really easy to fit in with your chargeable work that actually pays the bills for yourself and for your firm, because the workload can be split between so many individuals and make it so much more manageable.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great that so many people are involved because I know that a lot of this information is just massive to read through. Last question, and then I think maybe if we have any like audience comments or questions, but what do you think Linklaters gets out of its affiliation with Amicus?
I think it starts from a sort of personal level and kind of goes up. So there's a huge amount of interest in Amicus's work across individuals working throughout the firm. I know there's a lot of staff who, like myself, are personally opposed to the death penalty, and they welcome a chance to contribute to Amicus's work. It's not every day that you get to do work that has a life-changing impact to people on the ground.
Absolutely.
Plus, it's a great skill building opportunity. You get to do legal research, international litigation. As a junior lawyer, especially, pro bono work is a great opportunity to take on a good amount of responsibility and demonstrate to your seniors that you can handle that.
Yeah.
And kind of stemming from that, going away from the individual interest and more towards the firm interest. I know that Linklaters is always looking to strengthen its bond with Amicus. I understand that we, just looking at my notes here, we initially just worked with Amicus on various bits of casework, but then over the years our collaborations expanded to include consultancy on innovation and tech solutions. We've helped broker partnerships with document management providers on a pro bono basis. And I understand that recently a Linklaters staff member who has been involved with Amicus work has joined the board of trustees. So definitely always keen to do more to help Amicus. Yeah. We are, of course, aware of the fact that Linklaters is not a criminal law firm. This isn't our day-to-day expertise. So a lot of the work that we do might need to be supervised by Amicus and so outsourcing it to us might not be the most time-efficient way to do it. So a lot of the time, the best way we can contribute is financially through sponsorships and donations and so on. And I think that might be a good segue to anyone listening that. If you're interested in Amicus work and want to support it, I believe donation links are being shared throughout the day. So yes, I'd encourage you to donate.
They are excellent. And Margot here just mentioned that the e-discovery work that Linklaters has done is a game changer. So I think that's a really important thing to mention as well. All right. Well, I know someone linked the article that you mentioned earlier. So for anyone that is interested, can read back through the comments and check that out. But thank you so much for joining us. It was lovely to chat with you. Are there any final things you want to mention?
Nothing from me. Happy to answer any comments that might have come in the chat. But in the event that there aren't any, lovely to speak to you. Thank you for having me on.
Oh yeah, I was looking through the comments, but I don't think there's any questions. So thank you so much. It was great chatting with you.
Excellent. Have a great rest of the day.
You too.
Bye.